Gunline. Fire mission coming down, y'all. I'm your host, Lopez, and you're listening to the On the Gunline podcast, where we shoot the shit like we would out in the field, in between the trails, under the net, or if you was a big boy that never got off mechanized, inside your gun. Or, you know, if you're FDC, somewhere up in your little fucking track. But anyways, with that being said, I'd like to welcome y'all here to this great episode. We're doing a shoot the shit with one of my old NCOs when I was a private, yo. This dude, well, we're gonna get to know him. All right. His name is, I just knew him as Sergeant Jenkins. His first name is the greatest name of all names that there is out there. So I'm just gonna throw that out there as Daniel or Danny, either or, but same difference. So it's the greatest name ever. So with that being said, welcome, Sergeant Jenkins. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
Brother, I am living the life. I was literally right now hanging up a motherfucking ceiling fan in my backyard on the little patio area because these Texas heat, baby, it's brutal. It's fucking brutal. And I completely forgot that not forgot, but I lost track of time and we were going to do this shit today. So luckily we're here, man. But enough of me. Tell me, let the listeners know who you are, where you're from. What is your story?
All right. Well, I know quite a bit of the people that you've had on here before probably recognize me. I was in the unit. I had to come back inside. Weather wasn't going to cooperate with me outside.
Oh, gotcha.
Remember me? I was your chemical NCOIC while I was still in the battery. Ended up going to battalion after that. I've worked in your training room. First sergeant's driver, first sergeant's right-hand man.
So you were our CBurn you were our chemical.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. I was wondering what your MOS was. Okay. We ain't gonna hold that against you, but yeah, he was on a gun line with us though.
Yeah. I mean, I did everything. I mean, I was whatever they needed me to be. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah. Originally from Nashville, Tennessee.
Great state. Beautiful state.
Came back here actually. Came back here about 7-8 years ago.
Okay.
And got me a family. Got a bunch of kids.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's the American dream.
Yeah, that's how we're rolling it.
Hell yeah, man. Congrats. Now, so how many years did you spend in the Army total?
I was about 8 months short of 10 years.
No shit.
Yep.
Damn. Well, let's touch on that a little bit. So you joined the Army before 9/11?
Yep.
So let's go ahead and touch on that. What year did you come in?
The tail end of December of 2000.
Oh, no shit. Okay. And
2000.
What was your inspiration, if you will? Like, I mean, did you have any prior family in the military? Was it something that you wanted to do, or
being and everybody always like kind of associated it with me. Oh yeah, he's going to go in the military. That's what he's going to do. So, I mean, that's what I ended. I went through JRTC, but I didn't even stay in that too long. It interfered with football. So.
Oh, okay. Now, like your childhood era, you grew up in Nashville, right? That's where you're from?
Yes, I am from. I was born and pretty much raised in Davidson County. That's where Nashville is.
Okay.
School in Wilson County schools because my mama didn't want me in those rough schools over there in Davidson.
Gotcha.
You being from LA, I'm sure you can understand how your mama would do stuff like that.
Oh yeah, my mom tried to get me going to fucking valley schools out there, but unfortunately I didn't have the grades, to go out to the valley schools, which ultimately I ended up marrying this a chick from the valley, which is out there, the San Fernando Valley. And turns out, it's pretty much the same shit, just more Mexican. You know what I'm saying? It sprinkled with a few whites. But where I was at, it was just all black. You know what I'm saying? Let me rephrase. It was very diverse. You know what I'm saying?
It was very
diverse. I got to be politically correct out here. But no, man, that's awesome. Now, talk to me about your decision. What ultimately led you to say, fuck it, I'm going to go ahead and join up?
I knew that if I stayed out there, and I'm sure you heard this coming from a lot of your NCOs. Hell, you probably had, judging by some of the stories I heard you say way back when, and some of your podcasts now, you have a story of I would have gotten too much trouble if I'd stayed out.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's ultimately what I was, and a lot of my friends that I grew up with, they've, some of them done pen time at this point. I was from the other side of the tracks out here in Nashville. I wasn't rich. I was born in a trailer in a graveyard. So,
right. Fucking working class, right?
Yeah.
Working class.
Yeah. Well,
a little under that.
low.
I like to
get in trouble if I didn't. So
I
got in a little bit of trouble there too, but that's story for another time, right?
no doubt, man. I mean, I trip out. Like I consider myself, I don't consider myself poor, like in the slums poor. Like I've seen some shit like from gangbanging in Little Rock and shit like that, where they're like living in the slums. Like, nah, I was good. I had a family and I had a roof over my head. I call it upper lower class is where I grew up. You know what I'm saying?
That's about where I put me as upper lower class. I mean, mom and dad worked.
Yeah.
Worked hard.
We just grew up in a very tough environment that it was,
daddy had a drinking problem.
Oh yeah.
Would pick up all the money, wrecking cars, DUI, stuff like that. It cost up. So
yeah, it does. Now, did you have any siblings?
I have a sister.
A sister, as in one. Okay. Not 8, like in the Mexican math, that 8.
Now, but no.
Right on. That's awesome. Now, is this older or younger?
She's younger.
Oh, okay, right on. So there was nobody else followed in your footsteps as far as military goes?
No.
All right. So now, was this a decision you decided to make after high school, or I mean, how far after high school?
I graduated in early December, and I was, off at basic in December later on.
Okay. Right on. And how did talk to me about your recruiter expectation versus the reality when you sat down with them?
Oh man, I remember, and I remember thinking back then that, hey, some of the stuff he's saying, he's saying stuff to get me to go. And I remember thinking that, and I remember, my mom and dad being worried about it. And, I would push his lies too at the time, knowing full well that what I was getting into was something more than I was telling them. I was like, oh yeah, no, I'll be in an office environment and this, that, and the other. And bam, 9/11 pops off, right? Yeah.
Ain't that some shit, man? I mean, going in there, go ahead.
I got for college. That's initially what I came in for.
Okay.
I wish I would have made a better decision with my college education, but I mean, I do have a bachelor's degree now. I do have, I was almost through a master's, but
damn. That's what's up. I mean, for a kid growing up in the rough areas of fucking Nashville, to have a bachelor's degree, I'm sure that's a fucking that alone is an accomplishment, shit. So congratulations on that shit, man. It's not something easy to do. You gotta put no doubt. Not all of us are made for school. Like me, I'm not made for school, bro. Fuck school. I think that they should honestly, I think that the military should compensate those that don't want the 9/11 or post 9/11 GI Bill or the GI Bill at all, and give us that money instead as a down payment for a home, because that's going to be our biggest fucking our biggest debt that we're going to have as civilians or as just human beings on this planet. The biggest debt we're going to have is a mortgage. So help us out with that, Uncle Sam. Fuck those of us that don't want a fucking degree, we want to have a little fucking title that says homeowner. But anyways, that's another story for another day, like you were saying. So you go to your recruiter. Was that now?
I said, that's a great idea right there.
Yeah, they come in there in and out sometimes. Actually, I think one of my old soldiers when I was in Fort Stewart was the one that brought it up to me. And ever since then, it's stuck in my head. You know what I mean? So T.O. Trentanero, good call, brother. He probably forgot about that shit anyway. So, all right. So you go there. How the fuck did you pick Seaburn?
All right. So I told this story about 1 million times.
1,000,001 now.
the video looked cool. Just like y'all, a lot of the 13 Bang Bangs be like, oh, I love the video. Yeah, the video got me.
What did they show you guys? Like putting your mask inside a fucking trash can and cleaning it? I mean, what?
I mean, no, it was a lot more than that. It was like, I mean, y'all don't get to see a lot of like an NBC unit, a Seabird unit. A lot of the stuff they do.
That's right. It was NBC before. It was NBC and then it's Seaburn. That's right.
Yeah, I didn't know I'd be the only one in a unit. I never knew that would happen.
Okay.
So like, I really didn't. Now at the same time, it was like a double-edged sword. Okay. As a young kid, coming in at 18, fresh face, 18-year-old, it taught me a little bit of responsibility, like, because to be honest, nobody really wanted to have to deal with it.
Right.
Right. The supply, technically we'd fall under supply sergeant. Supply sergeant's like every damn supply sergeant I had was like, no, I ain't got to deal with it. No, you report to me in the morning and then you go and do your stuff. And if first sergeant comes and looks for you, you better be where you're supposed to be.
Damn.
Because I'm not going to be responsible for you, but you are.
So you didn't have a NBC NCO. You just reported to because I mean, I guess back then, I mean, there was a headquarters platoon that we would have. At least when I was coming through, where we had our supply, commo, fucking, and all the good stuff all together. And it would be like the training room guy would be the one in charge of them, most likely. But so nobody wanted to take accountability for you. That's what it sounded like? Okay,
so initially, yeah. I started off in HHB.
Okay.
When I first Fort Hood.
Okay.
I was in HHB 316.
Okay.
It was First Sergeant Centeno. And he just got to the, he was a, yeah, I'll go ahead and say it. He was a bit of a racist. He looked out for the brown. Everybody knew it back then.
Okay.
That's what he did, which, teach his own. I mean, I'm sure he's seen quite a bit of it on every side when he was coming up through the ranks.
Right.
But he would definitely look out for Hispanics. We all saw it.
Okay.
Once he got another, there was actually slotted for 2 NBCs in his unit. Once he got Brian Gonzalez, he was like, I don't care if this dude is a coconut. He's brown, and you're going to Alpha. That's how I ended up initially in Alpha Battery 316.
Gotcha.
Which eventually became Alpha Battery 277.
Right. Yeah, because you were 277 before it was 277. You were there with
First Sergeant Britton, and I mean what was the number? I think it was like 25 of us. Okay. We stood up.
Yeah, I mean, when I got there, it was pretty much already up, because I got there. You guys started standing that shit up in 2004, right? Okay, so yeah, because I got there in March of 2005, and yeah, you guys, at least from what I remember, you were one of the cool NCOs that you weren't a Roycroft. I'll just say that. I don't know if you remember that joker.
I haven't heard that name in years.
Yeah. You weren't him. He made an impact on my life. So, but yeah, dude, I mean, so let's talk about that. You go through 316 now, 9/11 happens. Does the reality of I'm in the military now, like I could fucking die, does that really kick in then, or?
Okay, so were you still in Fort Hood when November 5th happened?
November 5th.
That's when Major Hassan shot up.
Oh no, I was already gone, because I left Fort Hood in 2008. I went to Korea, or 2007. I went to Korea.
I remember. So you were still in the unit when I actually left for to go to HHB 582.
I'm not. Nah, dude. Honestly, because so I left 277 in September of 07.
Okay. So, all right. So we stood up we reflagged as Alpha Battery 582 first Cav.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then had a little differences with First Sergeant Maynard, who was, I love the guy. He was great. Okay. But even though I appreciate that he expected a lot out of me, I wasn't seeing a whole lot of the appreciation reciprocated. Okay. I wanted to be promoted.
Right.
But having a first sergeant as your direct line supervisor, it's kind of rough.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm putting in board packets for guys with DUIs, and I'm not going to throw any names out there. I'm not throwing shade on anybody.
Right.
I'm stating from my point of view.
Right.
I'm putting in promotion packets for guys that got DUIs on the record, had DUIs within the last 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am, clean as a whistle, no issues. And when I asked first sergeant, why don't you send me to the board?
Yeah.
You're not ready. Well, not ready how?
Right.
You got me in charge. You practically rely on me as the platoon sergeant for the entire damn, headquarters platoon.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we got an E6, we got an E7 in the platoon. You rely on me in that role.
Damn. So you were in the position.
So
did the NCO regards reflect it as well?
Yeah. I mean, all my shit was excellent. Of course, it's hard to argue when, all right, everybody knew back then. I know how to articulate myself in writing. So especially in writing. And that's the reason why a lot of people would come to me for their NCRs.
Right.
And I mean, they actually relied on me, Gunny Booker, he relied on me. A lot of people relied on me. Pete, Griffin, a lot of people relied on me for their NCRs. And I all my shit was excellent. It's hard to argue with it when you quantify and you qualify on an NCR, right? And I know how to do it. It's all a fluff piece most of the time anyway.
For a lot of motherfuckers, it's just fluffing that shit up. You know what I'm saying?
It's all a fluff piece. And I would do that. So it's kind of hard to argue with that. But in my opinion was, why not?
Exactly. He didn't give you the opportunity to fucking to at least go. And you're talking about, just for those that don't know, you're talking from the sergeant to staff sergeant board, right? That's what you're talking about.
My wife just came.
Oh, you good?
That's awesome. All right. Good job, baby.
So yeah, we're talking about the board from sergeant to staff sergeant.
Yeah, go to staff sergeant.
So that should have been something. That honestly, the boards are fucking, especially back then. It was, you show up, the only one that could fuck up a board is yourself if you step on your dick. Other than that, it's like automatic. You know what I mean?
Right. And like I said, me and First Sergeant Maynard, we got into it.
Okay.
Right. We had a little peer mediation, even though like he's my superior.
Right.
Me, him, and our sergeant major, and I believe it was, I want to say it was Carr in 582.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Because I remember the big black dude. He was gone by then.
We had Young.
Yeah.
In 27. Sergeant Major King was my first sergeant major in God rest his soul. 316. Carr was my sergeant major in 582nd. Right. And he came in and he stepped in, and he heard both of our viewpoints, and he decided he was going to bring me over to headquarters.
Okay.
At the time, headquarters was being, or our HHB for 582 was under Sergeant Major, not Command Sergeant Major, but Sergeant Major Britton. He was the first sergeant. And my first few minutes in there, I walk in there and he said, You're here now. And I said, yeah. He said, what do you want? I said, I want to go to the board. He said, it's done.
Nice.
And I'm going to throw a name out there, and you're going to remember this name right off the bat, Shivari.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. A lot of people couldn't work with him. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what. I admire that man like none other. Now, me and him, we had some issues. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There were plenty of times out there in Iraq where he would pull me aside and be like, all right, we need to get this out. We need to hash this shit out. We need to talk. We need to talk man to man. It's no longer, Master Sergeant Shivari and Sergeant Jenkins. And now we're talking Carlos and Daniel.
Yeah.
And then, you got your toolbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
I took a lot in my toolbox from that man.
I'll tell you what, with that, you're not the only one that said that. Hunt, me and Hunt, we talk about Chivari all the time, because Chivari, let's be honest, all right, when he first got to the motherfucking unit, that motherfucker, he hadn't taken off his round brown yet off his head, and so he thought he was still on the trail.
Yeah.
And it was rough. But I mean, as I was getting ready to leave, it was the last field problem before I left to Korea. He had me as his driver. And you know what? He had fucked his foot up at this time. And he was walking around with a black Reebok. I still remember this shit, man. But he turned out to be fucking cool, just a smooth character who just, he was like, he just went a little too hard at first. You know what I'm saying? And I got to see a different side of him in that field probs, and then like Hunt telling me how he was afterwards, and then with also us pretty much confirming that. I kind of wish I would have worked with him more. The reason that at first I didn't really dig him was because he didn't have a combat patch, and the problem that I had with that was he was trying to explain to us how it was going to be over there. And he hadn't gone there yet, but we had gone there yet. You know what I mean? We had been there already.
I remember these conversations. I remember seeing these conversations as they occurred, like you're saying, and then seeing y'all afterwards, and y'all be sitting over at the picnic table smoking, and everybody be like, "Man, how the hell is he going to tell us anything?" And y'all be looking down at y'all right shoulder the entire time,
right?
And I mean, I can't argue with that. I mean, now, devil's advocate, was on the trail, but still, I mean, we all looked at it like, damn, there's some of us, at the time with 2 or 3 deployments under our belt, and he's sitting there talking to them like that. So
yeah, exactly. Because I remember, I do remember one thing. Like, I used to talk a lot of shit to you about being a fobbit, and you were like, "Hey, I did my time already. I'm okay being here." And you know what? I still remember this to this day. I still remember that because I was like, you know what? God damn, that made so much sense. On my second deployment, on my third deployment, I was like, I'm cool back here. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be a fobbit all motherfucking day long.
I would still do it. I mean, because honestly, like the first tour, and you can ask Jaime. I mean, we were on a 5 per se, and it's the same thing with our final tour. And when we ended up at what do we call that? Talon? No, it wasn't Talon. Hunter. I mean, it was something that we stood up.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. I mean, if you want to call that, we had T-walls. We had
right.
that accomplished something, right? But it was still, it wasn't to create. It wasn't
as secure as a fucking forward operating base would be.
It wasn't
built up,
something like that. It was still something though.
Yeah, I tell you, man. It's a trip, man. Like, so you were with 316, converted to 277, and I it must have been great going back to work for fucking for old, I guess, Sergeant Major Brenton then at that time. I mean, because I'll tell you what, him being my first sergeant, the first sergeant I had when I got to to the line, or to the real army, that he set the standard, for all my first sergeants. And I can't.
That's a high bar.
Yeah, it really is. It's hard for me to even think of anybody that.
That is a very high bar to set.
I mean, no doubt that he would have made Sergeant Major of the Army if he would have stayed in. You know what I'm saying? I have no doubt in my mind. But I mean, it's funny because one of his friends that he grew up with over there in Gitmo ended up being one of my first sergeants as well out in Fort Stewart. He was like, how do you know Brenton? And I was like, oh, he was my first sergeant. And he's like, man, I grew up with him out in Gitmo. He was 13 Bravo as well. So shout out Sergeant Major Neely. Love you, man. But yeah, dude. Okay, so just so you know, we're 10 minutes out where I'm gonna have to resend you another link.
Okay.
Because I'm a po motherfucker and I keep it free 90 free all day. So I only get like 40 minutes per recording. So I'll shoot you a new link, and that'll be in about 10 minutes. But let's talk about your first deployment, man. I mean, if you don't mind, like in a nutshell, give me your thoughts, your feelings, or what was it like going through fucking the moment of, well, let's rewind a little bit. Where were you when 9/11 happened?
All right, so I can tell you exactly. I mean, I got up that morning. I went to the commissary up there on Warrior Way. All right,
Okay.
The one down the street from the PX, right?
Yep.
The Warrior. I went and got me a pack of cigarettes, and I was hearing something on the radio, but they cut out. It cut out. I mean, it's only like, from where our old barracks were. It was like a 2-minute drive to the commissary. Or not the commissary, the little PX, little gas station PX.
Right there by Warrior Way. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Or Choppin. There we go.
The Choppin. Mm-hmm.
Went and got a pack of cigarettes. I come back, and it was a little snippet that I heard in there. Didn't hear anything in the gas station. Okay. I get back and I heard a little snippet about whatever, and then they cut out and went to commercial, and I walked in the DFAC.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the DFAC watching the TV when the second plane hit.
Oh shit!
And I remember, I was sitting there with one of my the first people that I got along with. His name was Montello Joe. I think it was Monty Jordan.
Mm.
And he was actually in my spot when he was going to PCS. He was going to train me in my spot. Okay. And he was still there at the time. And we sat there and we watched the second plane hit. And I can tell you this, even though like I'm a big boy,
yeah,
eat anything that day. I didn't eat anything right then.
Mm.
I walked back like, what the hell? I remember they pushed back. We showed up for our 9 o'clock formation, and they pushed back formation. And the platoon sergeant came out to us and said, "Hey, if you live in the barracks, go back to the barracks. If you live off post, just hang out in your cars or something. We're going to get with you out here in a little bit." Mm. So, funny story about this whole thing too. I was still with First Sergeant Centeno at the time. Mm-hmm. And I still remember this conversation. This happened about 11 or 12 o'clock, right? And I hadn't contacted my family or nothing at this point. And First Sergeant Centeno got up there and he called us in formation. And he's like, "This shit's real." Excuse my cheesy.
Oh, no, you got it, bro.
He's like, "This shit's real. You hear me, guy? This shit's real. Something's happened. We could get a call at any moment now." And right then his phone rang. And it was all ringer. So everybody fucking freezes. Everybody, the whole fucking battery freezes.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Even he's like looking down. He ain't even turned over his phone. It's the old flip phones at this point,
Yeah.
He ain't even turned over his phone to look yet. He kind of just like hesitates and he finally flips it over and he looks and it's like, "Oh, it's my mom. It's my mom." And like you can hear a collective sigh of relief at that point. It was crazy. And
Well, yeah,
then
because don't know what to expect. This is the first time that we've been attacked in history since fucking Pearl Harbor. You're in the military active duty, so you guys are thinking like, shit, we can get that call right now. Like we're off. God
right.
damn.
And I tried to call. I remember I tried to call my family a couple of times, but the lines were cut off.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why I was trying to relate that to November 5th.
Right.
I don't know. You weren't there, but is anybody that was there on November 5th in 2009, November 5th, 2009, you try to use your cell phone. There was no service. There was so much, traffic trying to go out.
Right.
Just people trying to let their family know they were already. It was kind of the same way. I finally got up there on that night. I remember I was sitting around playing Twisted Metal with a bunch of guys in the barracks. And we, finally got a hold of them. I told them I was all right. They're like, "Are you going to work?" Like, we don't even know who at this point who did this. It wasn't until a couple of days later. And that's pretty much the story of that.
Damn.
Iraq, the first, and I know you've heard this. People say this. It was the Wild West.
Mm-hmm.
That first tour, it was the Wild West. A lot of the red tape and restrictions that we had during our tour together were lifted. I mean, they
didn't exist when you went. So for those that don't know, you were in 316 FA when you deployed the first time, right?
Right.
So that was at a 4th ID.
Mm-hmm.
And so you flew out of Fort Hood, and where did you guys go in through? Did you go through the south or through the north?
Kuwait, so the south.
Okay. So did you guys rolled in like
we were initially go to Turkey, and I think if memory serves me right, some of our equipment did go to Turkey.
Okay.
But the bulk of our paladins and all were in Kuwait, and initially the initial push, the paladins came up later.
Okay.
They came up on hits, which I'd gotten in a little bit of trouble. So not was I the first one in 316 in the whole battery or the whole battalion to burn shit. I also ended up on hit detail providing security drivers. That's
shit.
Shithole I was in at the time.
Fucking hey, man. So now when you went there, who from the unit when we were there was there with you? You said Natividad was there, right?
He was there.
So Natividad, I'm guessing Chuck Landis.
Chuck Landis was definitely there. Pro name out there. See, everybody calls Chuck Charlie a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I always do him by Chuck or Landis.
Okay.
All right. My Charlie was Charlie Minnick. Still one of my closest friends. Love that man. Master Sergeant Minnick up in, I think he's up in
Master Sergeant now.
Yeah, he made Master Sergeant back in 2020.
Nice. Good shit. I remember Minnick, my first daily unit.
That's a right there.
That's another story there though. But yeah, that's good shit. So Minnick, Taylor, I'm pretty sure was there as well. Tank
didn't come in until 277.
Oh, really? Okay.
I want to say Sergeant McCormick was with us. Lee didn't come in until afterwards. Marquez actually was, he had just got over to the unit. I met Marquez like our 5th day back from Iraq.
Okay.
So like he was actually on rear D while the unit was returning. So he got there as the unit was returning.
Now, was Roy Croft in 316 with you?
Roy Croft in 316.
Okay.
Oh, there's another one. Oh, Eldridge. He was
Eldridge. Rest in peace, Eldridge.
And Borson.
Borson, I got him on Facebook. Borson. Fucking, he had to be the youngest motherfucking NCO I ever knew in my life. I think you and him, because that motherfucker was like 20 or something and already has stripes. I'm over here 27. fucking 1.
I was 21 when I made my stripes.
Right on.
I think he was about the same time. You commented on a frosty mug. That's a callback to Borson right there. That was our thing. We
Gotcha.
we sell the mugs from and Chili's and everywhere else, and we take them home and put them in our freezer.
Right on. All right. This thing is about to cut out on me. I'm going to go ahead and send you that new link and we'll continue on from there. All right.
All right.
All right. See you in a minute, brother. All right. And we
later.
are back with the never ending saga of Jenkins, the NBC specialist from 277 582 and 316. So once again, thanks, man. So last we were talking about your first fucking deployment. Well, not even the deployment. Yeah, we're just talking about getting ready to fucking ship out, right? Do
Right.
you remember like what were your thoughts, bro? Like when you heard the news, like, okay, we're leaving on or about this date. When you got your orders, like we rolling.
Scared as fuck.
Yeah.
Scared as fuck. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Fucking terrified at the time. You know, didn't exactly know what we were getting into. Even our guys that had combat patches, the ones that we should be looking up to, is like, you know, this is going to be a different type of war.
Right.
And it was. I mean, we weren't down in trenches and shooting. It wasn't like that. No. Instead, now, you know, the enemy had taken a guerrilla approach to us. Because, I mean, to be honest, then the days of pushing through and like D-Day and stuff like that, that's with modern technology, that's over with.
Yeah.
All right. Air Force, Navy going to launch a bunch of bombs at an area, controlled fire. We're going to roll in. And unless you're like SF or something like that, you're not getting engagement on a direct level like the old days.
Right.
And even they're tactically inserted and stuff like that. So it's a different type of war now. Now we occupy.
Right.
And, you know, you got to put up with insurgents or patriots of their cause or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, to them, they're definitely patriots to their cause. You know what I mean? To us, that's the enemy, motherfucker. Fuck them. We got to blow them up.
It's me or them, and I'm gonna pick me.
Exactly. Every day. Every fucking day.
Twice on Sunday.
Exactly. Dude, I mean, so you get up there, you guys take through the initial push, do your 1 year out there, and what were the differences you saw between your first deployment and your second deployment when you went with us with 277?
Like I said, okay, well, it's also a difference of the location. All right. The first push, yeah, I remember we spent some time in Basra before it got built up. We ended up pushing up to Mugadaya. And in Mugadaya, we established 5 Normandy. It's at one of Saddam's old bases.
Okay.
And there was some bunkers that he never got around to rebuilding. And, you know, again, I remember at this time, we were still looking for the weapons of mass destruction. So I was pretty important that tour. Okay?
Yeah.
Tours, not so much. That one I was. Everybody's like, does my shit work? I don't know. Does it?
All of a sudden, NBC was fucking really needed at that time.
Everybody's best friend. I tell you what. And then subsequent tours, now back to Battery Bitch Boy at this point.
Shit.
But you know, they were, hey, we found this place. You need to come out here. And I remember going through this one bunker, and you know, we're using like flashlights and chem lights, and it wasn't until we actually lit up the room and we saw what we were walking around in. Yeah. And this was got, you know, bunker busted from back in Desert Storm.
Oh, no shit. Right?
And we looked down, and there's fucking anti-personnel mines, disarmed, just strewn about everywhere.
Oh, fuck that.
It just strewn about, and we're like, okay, everybody be very careful walking back out of here.
For real.
I remember thinking, that's how it ends.
That would be a fucked up way to go, but at least you would have died doing your job.
Right.
God damn, man, that's fucking sick. When you got back, and well, then we had a rotation. We went to Baghdad, and that was a cool. Were you in there when I had my Article 15 read?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't like Captain Flores very much. Did not like him at all. Little doughboy looking motherfucker.
I remember, I probably worked on your Article 15,
mhm.
getting it go through and stuff like that. Because nothing goes through like, and I'm sure you know this from when you became an NCO. You put something up and paperwork, it gets kicked back. So
Yes.
I think your section chief put it up. I looked at it, thought, yeah, it's good. Put it up. It got kicked back by S1 for whatever reasons. I take it back to your section chief. Like, I'm not going to fix it. You to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't my soldier.
I tell you what though, for the alleged allegations, I got a slap on the wrist, bro. I got a slap on the fucking wrist because I got 45 and 45 with half a month's pay, suspended and no loss of rank.
I got now I already mentioned one of my I'm not gonna bring it up because I'm not gonna air old issues, but
Yeah.
some people know about. I ended up being the first person burn shit. I ended up on a hit, bringing up all the equipment, stuff like that. While everybody else was still in Kuwait at some point, except for a select few that came across. I went across with them, then went back with the hits, and then came back.
Oh shit.
I was on shit detail. They told me from the beginning, I'm not going to bring up what I did, but yeah, I got in quite a bit of trouble. So.
Right. You but there was no paperwork involved with what happened with your stuff.
Swept under the rug.
Okay. That's all that matters, baby.
Because it wasn't just me. From my understanding, there was about 11 of us. So
ooh, damn. I'll tell you, when I got busted, for drinking that moonshine. Thanks, Robertson, for bringing me that fucking moonshine. So Robertson, our Como guy, he's the one that had brought the moonshine from North Carolina, and I bought it from him for $20. It was a fucking Listerine bottle full, and then that night, me, McConnell, and Moya just chugged that shit down with some motherfucking with some good old fucking Rippets. We mixed it with Rippets. And of course, the next day I missed movement, fucking hungover as shit. And then that night I was throwing up and I got busted by that one fucking there was this one LT from Lower Alabama, bald headed dude, cool as fuck. He was a LT for second platoon, I think. But either way, he was cool as fuck, but he busted me out there. And then he got fucking Captain Sandersola, or Lieutenant Sandersola back then. And then fucking Smoke came out, Smoke Norwood. But I was able to hide it at that time that I was fucking drunk. I was just throwing up. And unfortunately,
I used to be, by the way,
huh?
back when he was good. Oh, no good. Norwood.
Yeah.
Back when he was gunny in 316, he was another one that helped just stand up. Yeah, I was his driver.
Gotcha.
So
Billy Ray.
That was the beginning of the battalion bitch boy thing. So you're gonna go out with our. All right.
But yeah, dude. When I got busted, and it was in the middle of the transition of changing out commanders and first sergeants, because the Maynard was coming in, and so was Oberg.
Yep.
Oberg, yeah. So they were switching. So I don't know if that helped me out or what. But when they told me, 45 days restriction, I'm like, I'm in Baghdad. Okay. But the one that got me was the 45 days extra duty. That one hurt. That one fucking hurt until, I became really cool with the fob sheriff. Not fob sheriff. What the fuck? The mayor? Whatever the fuck it was. Scotty Simpson. Oh, Simpson. Fucking, so I came tight with him and he was like, yeah, man, just go ahead and go do this. Done. And But it did suck sometimes because he made me go fucking reposition fucking sandbags and all that shit in full kit, C-wire. It got old, man. But hey, I did the crime, I did the time, you know. And what I ended up happening was I still made my E4 in 2 years because for some reason I was only flagged for 3 months. I'm not gonna fight it. You know what I'm saying? I pinned my E4 on time. The next thing I know, I made my fucking 5. And then next thing I know, I made my 6 and 4. Or wait, 6 and 5? 6. No, I made my 5 and I forget, bro. 5 and 3, 6 and 4. Yeah, something like that. I kept going up. I straightened myself out, is what I'm trying to say. I straightened myself out, you know?
I mean, we all get better from our mistakes. If you don't, you're doomed to repeat them. And I mean, we all get better after every mistake. So,
well, Juarez was my chief at the time, and I know I disappointed him like fucking like bad. You know what I mean? And to me, the fact that I disappointed people hurt me more than anything. You know what I mean? Like I don't like disappointment because I was never a shitbag, but I made a big fuck up. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a fucking wheeler. You know, I not wheeler, but
understand where you're from there because you know, one of the things that I did when I fucked up was I remember, and it hurt, dude. It hurt. But old Smoke Mathis, he looked at me and he goes, "And you, I'm fucking disappointed in you." And that hurt more than fucking anything. More than filling all the damn sandbags before we got the damn, you know, Up Armor Humvees.
Yeah.
You know, back then they threw fucking that first story, they threw down diamond plate on the doors and had us fill up sandbags to line the bottom of it for ID.
Yeah.
So
shit. You know,
more than all that other bullshit that hurt the worst was having smoke.
You know, I don't know how much First Sergeant Britain had to do with me not getting fucked over, but I appreciate that, man. To the day I die, I love that, man. And Captain Flores, I knew he never liked me. I never liked him anyway. Fuck him. And I think Smoke Norwood had my back. My chief had my back. You know, so you know, I still remember having to pound on that fucking door. You know, Private First Class Lopez reports, whatever. But hey, it is what it is. I ended up leaving as a specialist. Whoop, whoop. All right, so we came back and you went to 5-8 Deuce. I went to fucking Korea.
Right.
You had your little issues there with Chavari and well, not Chavari, but with Maynard. And I ran into Maynard again. He was still part of 582. He was a sergeant major of 582. Now, command sergeant major of 582. Out in Afghanistan. He came to replace me. I was in 277 out of Fort Carson. Go figure, right? I started my career with 277. I ended my career with 277. So I thought that was pretty fucking cool. But I ran into Maynard out there, and he was like, "Oh, this is one of my soldiers back in the day from 277 Fort Hood." little angry old man. But he turned out to be all right, I guess.
Well, you know, me and him had our issues, and I left the unit, and I mean, you know, when you have issues with somebody, you're of the mind of fuck them afterwards.
Yeah.
And I was of the mind fuck him until I went to the board. I was in the board, and I still remember to this day, like I was nervous, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get through this, right? And you know, First Sergeant Ballard gives me his questions. First Sergeant Britton or Sergeant Major Britton gives me his questions, and it gets to Maynard, and I'm like, oh Lord, here I go. You know, I'm on. He goes, Sergeant Jenkins, how you doing today? First Sergeant, I'm doing excellent, First Sergeant. No more questions, Sergeant Major. He sat back down. So all the bullshit that he gave me, and that was his only question.
Nice.
So I thought that was a blessing from him. And, I dropped the whole fuck him attitude afterwards. So
maybe sometimes, you know, we got to go. One thing I have learned though, through maturity, through time, is like sometimes we got to fucking accept that some people are putting us through trials to see if we're really ready, even though they know we're ready, but they want to make sure by telling us, no, I don't think you're ready. Because then if you don't make the adjustments that they're telling you to make, or, you know, then they're able to see. Because if you would have sat back and said, man, fuck you, motherfucker, blah, 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 then you would have proved this point. Like, yeah, I guess I wasn't ready, but being able to fucking at least do the right thing and try to get a mediator, move over, you know what I'm saying? So I think that worked out in your favor, man. That's good shit.
Mhm.
Good shit. I had a problem with a sergeant major once. Sergeant Major Dang, from 19 Field Artillery. This motherfucker kicked me off the board twice.
Oh,
Because I was in my secondary zone. And if he's gonna fucking recommend you for staff sergeant in your secondary zone, you better be a PT stud. This guy has never been a PT stud, ever, ever, ever. So, anyways, I went twice, and he kicked me out twice. And even all the first sergeants were like, "What the fuck?" Because I knocked out all the questions, everything. My knowledge was up there. He just got mad because I was asked, "What do you do when you first arrive at to occupy?" And I gave him my version, and he said no, and I said yes. So we got into it. So ever since that day, he just didn't like me, bro. But at the end of the day, when he ended up having to go to the board for the E7 boards, do the selections and shit like that, he was gone for a minute. Let's just say that. And I went to the fucking to the promotion board, to the staff sergeant board. All the first sergeants were like, "Yeah, you got it. You're good. You're good." I just went in there, presented myself, except for one motherfucking first sergeant. His name was First Sergeant Samuel. He turned out to be cool as fuck. I mean, I love First Sergeant Sam. This motherfucker was cool as fuck, bro. Kippy Samuel. He's like, "Nah, fuck that. We can't let this motherfucker go like that. All right, Lopez, what are the 5 requirements necessary for actable, predictable, accurate fires?" Man, first of all, that's an FDC question. I don't know that shit, right? But what turned out to work out for me, that I was a roommate with this dude, Sergeant Rookert, and he was going through his training for FDC, and that was one of the questions on there. So I happened to know those answers, bro, and I knocked him out. He's like, "Man, you forgot one." I was like, "What's that?" "Goodbye, motherfucker. Congratulations." And I just walked out, bro. And I know that Sergeant Major Dang was not too thrilled to find out when I got my rocker, bro.
oh,
But here's the thing, bro. A lot of people put a lot of fucking and I'd like your opinion on this. Like when you came in pre-war, peacetime army. How were the NCOs then versus your come up through the fucking GWAT generation? And how did you adjust your leadership?
all right. So honestly, and this is just coming from somebody that was, a private during that. Outside of, basic and AIT, the NCOs I encountered at the unit level.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and this is honestly probably just my experience is based on the fact that I wasn't a 13 Bravo.
Right.
And let me digress a little bit here. Mm-hmm. I think that was one of the things that held me up while I was in 316, 277, 582. That was my main argument with First Sergeant Maynard was, if I was one of the 13 series, you had already sent me to the damn board.
Gotcha.
And I mean, hey, I understand the good old boy system. I work at Wilson County Sheriff's Department. All right. I understand the good old boy system.
Right.
But, it has its drawbacks too. So I seen it back then with coming up through. They didn't want to have a lot to do with it. It was like, well, you manage you. I got my soldiers to manage. You're not my soldier.
That's
so a lot of the time until I got to Alpha. Now, when I got to Alpha Battery, I already mentioned Smoke Matt. Mm-hmm. Smoke Matt, he took me in. Norwood, they took me in. And they said, "No, then you come talk to me. Mm-hmm. Anybody with issues, you come talk to me. You fuck up, you're gonna come talk to me." And that's the way it was. So,
word. That's one thing that I did take from my first experience with the NCOs on the battery at the battery level, out of basic and out of OSUT. All the NCOs were a tight knit fucking group out there. All of y'all were tight knit. fucking PJ, fucking Atividad, you, Borson, fucking shit. I'm trying to think of all the section chiefs, everybody, all the NCO corps. It looked and felt like what I expected an NCO corps to be like, which I saw it dissolve through my progression in the military. And granted, I only served for 10, and then I ended up getting military retired, medically retired. You know what I'm saying? But I saw the evolution. I didn't know what it was like pre fucking 9/11. But I mean, there's this I saw this picture where it shows like, for example, like spit shine boots,
Right.
which was once a standard, and let me ask you, what do you think about that? Like, the uniform standards, how they got laxed, I think. What year did you get out?
Well, see, I got out in 2009.
Okay.
Honestly, you're asking somebody that largely considered himself a field surgeon, soldier anyways. That's when I had my most fun. All right.
Yeah.
When we were out fucking NTC, we were out of JRTC. This is the time that I had my best times.
Right.
All right. Back at Garrison. All right, look. I did the whole spit shine boots and press uniform. But honestly, at that point, if everybody's coming in with spit shine boots and press uniforms, how do you distinguish yourself from others? All right. If everybody's doing it and everybody's trying to impress. All right. Afterwards, when we switched over to the desert, and they're like, everybody was like, "Oh, I miss the days."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I didn't, because I'd rather judge you by your work ethic. Something that people tend to forget. Morris. Okay, Not saying we forgot Morris. Morris was my soldier before he was anybody else's.
Oh, word. Okay.
You know why? Because he went AWOL.
Right.
So he ended up with me. And I mean, I'm gonna miss that guy. That was a good damn guy. And I remember once, I exploited that work ethic of his. Exploited, wrong word. All right, I showed to the world that work ethic. Everybody else wanted it. Well, we're sitting there fighting over him.
Because so when I got to the unit, he was already AWOL. And so I didn't know much about him until he finally got back, and then, heard of the reasons that he had for leaving.
Yeah, his sister.
Yeah.
His sister, wasn't it?
Right. So, that's some stuff. I don't want to put his business out there, but yeah, it was something that needed to get done. And I back that shit up 100%. And for those that are unaware, so Morris is one of our fellow members from 277, that one of the many that we've lost already within our old unit. It's amazing to me, bro. Just with this last one with Mercer, that one is at a fucking left field.
Go ahead.
About it.
I was waiting to talk to. I can't remember. Like, my memory's shit. All right, and I mean, you're 45, right?
Yeah,
I'm 40 at this point, and my memory's shit.
Yep.
But one of the last, and I can't remember if it was a recent conversation, but I don't think it was. I seen him, and I don't know if it was before I left Fort Hood, because after I got out of the military, I worked for the WTU.
Okay.
Around a party or something, and I saw him.
Okay.
But he looked like the demons were getting the better of him back then. And that was my last impression of Mercer. And I remember reading a post and all the stuff that everybody was writing about him. And, sometimes I feel like sometimes I want to say stuff and I don't, just because, all right, to some of y'all, I am the outsider. I wasn't 13. I'm your brother. All right.
Right.
I deployed with you, but I wasn't 13 series. So sometimes I feel like it isn't my place to say stuff.
Oh shit.
But I read the stuff about from Carter,
Okay.
and Carter told him that mentioned that alcohol was getting the better of him, and that was my first thought, was seeing him back then like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he looked rough,
brother. I'll tell you, I guarantee that 99.9% of everyone, when they heard the news about Mercer being in an automobile accident, the first thought that came to mind was DUI.
I mean,
Having the influence. I'm guilty of it. Guilty.
That was my thought process.
And because that's where my mind went automatically, and after the details came out and all that. And that's why when I talked about it recently, I wanted to make sure that to put an emphasis, it was not alcohol related, it was not drug related. He just happened to get into the fucking no passing lane trying to pass a vehicle up, another vehicle was coming, bam, he went quick. All right, he went quick. And it's sad, 38 years old, leaving 2 kids behind, you know what I'm saying? And then fucking Morris, and here's the thing, let's circle back to the alcohol thing. The alcohol in the FA, in the Army itself, it's almost part of our culture in the military to drink. Some of us, though, abuse the shit out of it too much and try to use it to fucking
separate reality.
That's one way to look at it. That's a really good way. For myself personally, I was trying to use it to get rid of the numbness, to have a bit of feeling, because I was fucking numb. I mean, I became numb to a lot of shit, and it got to the point where I was apathetic as fuck to everything. But anyways,
drink anymore at all?
5 years sober now.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. It'll be 5 years in August. August 19th, 2018 was my last drink.
That's that's my birthday right there.
Oh, word. Hell yeah. There you go. Another reason to celebrate, man. But dude, yeah, Morris, let's see, it's been McConnell, Morris, fucking Quintero.
Oh, I didn't know about McConnell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
About 3 years ago.
Suicide? Suicide?
Nah, drugs, OD. But all these things can be attributed back to a way of self-medicating, is what I believe. You know what I mean? Self-medicating from some kind of trauma or for some other issue. I don't know what it is, what it was. I know that during our first deployment, we didn't really go through much shit. My roughest day was fucking January 6th when we got apparently it was January 5th, where we got fucked up with 176. That was my fucking roughest day. I never seen motherfuckers die like that, and that one fucking being there firsthand, that shit fucked me up. However,
I remember, even though you brought it up, I was back on the fob, right? And I remember Mendez came up to me, and we went outside to smoke because I signaled a friend needs to talk to me, right? And he goes, "How do you do it? Like, how do I do what?" He goes, "How do you compose yourself when people out there that your subordinates are out there and you're not out there and you don't know what's going on?" You just tell yourself you're going to find out at some point. I mean, there's no way everybody's going to handle that at different wavelengths. That you're not going to be able to, until you've been put in that situation. You can't. There's no right answer.
Right.
There was no, and I told him that there's no right answer. All right, you're going to deal with it. You're going to compute it how you will. There's no way of. You can't.
Let me ask you, after so you did a total of how many? Three deployments?
3 deployments.
Okay. I'm guessing that the first one was the hardest, at least soldering wise. But as time went through, I remember, I think your I think your old lady was pregnant at the time.
Mm-mm.
No,
No, my ex-wife.
during the second one. You're
No,
Oh, okay.
no, we didn't have a baby until after I got back. But you're already away from the unit.
Was she the one that went onto the singing cunt thing?
Yep, yep.
Okay,
My ex-wife, yeah, she was on American Idol.
that's right. That's right.
Yep.
My bad for bringing that up, brother. I didn't know.
You know, I went and spit 4 years ago. You and Charlie are about the same. My Charlie, not your
Mhm.
Charlie,
Yeah.
are about okay. I went and spent his 40th birthday with him.
Okay.
We went someplace in Kentucky. We got fucked up. All right, both ended up puking all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
Hotel room, right? But I went around with him, and I remember, these drunken conversations that you're gonna have with your buddy. You don't drink now, but 5 years ago,
Yeah.
About, and you're like, I love you, man. I love you, man. I should have listened to you way back when. She was a fucking bitch.
Mm.
I know you should have fucking listened to me. She's a fucking bitch. And that's pretty much where it is. Like, and it isn't just Charlie, it's several people in my unit that are like, your wife's a bitch. Did not register back then. It's like, have you ever watched the show Westworld?
Yes.
Okay. They show them a picture. I don't see a thing. That's the way it was with her. I don't see a thing. And then and I had to be around this bitch constantly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're a bitch.
Hindsight's 2020, man. Hindsight is 2020. Dude, yeah. Hey, when you get with Minnick, if you still talk to him, tell him to come on to the Gunline, man. I'd love to have him on the podcast, bro.
I'll let him know. In a while, I ain't talked to him in a couple of years. So I know we got some time.
Oh yeah.
But I wanted to go ahead and talk about. I mentioned 2020.
Yeah.
All right. Now, to that, a lot of folks that may listen to 2020 represented a lot of things. 2020 really resonates with me.
Okay.
Okay. Early 2020 in March, we had the tornadoes here in Nashville. All right. In the midst of COVID. And I was working at one of the most dangerous prisons here in Tennessee, and remains one of the most dangerous prisons. And I finally, we had the tornadoes. I lost my grandfather in the tornado.
Damn.
And it is what it is, right? I quit from that job May 19th, 2020. Or actually May 18th. Something went horribly wrong. You ever have those moments you think back on and you're like, something's really wrong? I remember being collapsed on my counter, gripping my chest. And honestly, that was the last memory I had for over 2 months.
Oh, shit. What the fuck happened?
I had 3 heart attacks.
3?
Apparently, I tried to drive myself to the hospital in the first one. I did drive my hospital with my 18-year-old daughter in the second. And the third one stopped.
Oh, shit.
Heart was stopped. That was on May 19th.
And that was 2020. That was what, 2-3 years ago? That would have put you at the ripe old age of 37?
Sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Well, first of all, thank God you're still here. I mean, that's a blessing within itself.
Lebanon PD, I'll tell you what. They got there, and it was a guy I met in passing before. He's a Marine, how we are with Marines. We're standoff. Yeah. You're my brother, but you're an asshole.
Right.
And I look at him like, you're my brother, but you're a fucking psycho.
Right.
And yeah, he yanked me out my wife's truck and started doing CPR on me, and he got my heart going long enough for the ambulance get there. I'll tell you what, if anything like that ever happens, I'll go ahead and give y'all a piece of advice. And you're miraculously saved. And the cop asks you if you want to see the body cam, tell them no. No. Don't fucking do it. I'll tell you what, that's some haunting ass shit.
Word. Holy shit, bro.
That is a true outer body experience. And you're like, why ain't I breathing?
No
it doesn't
shit.
Especially, all right, look, a lot of people have asked me, why, did you see anything on the other side? All right. And I'm not calling other people's stories bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not. But this is what I'm going to relate to that. When the heart stops, the blood stops pumping to the brain. Okay. The longer that goes, the increase over 7 minutes, you are almost certainly brain dead at that point.
Right.
Okay. I hit 5.
Oh shit.
I lost a couple of minutes off my, a couple of months that I can't
remember.
Right. But I don't remember seeing another side. And it's not saying there is no other side. I'm a Christian. I'm a Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in the other side. I also believe in the way the body works. And sorry, guys,
Right.
I can't give you any information to that. I didn't see nothing. I don't remember anything.
Right. Do they know what caused it?
I have heart disease.
Oh, okay.
Now, I can relate this to 15, 16, 17 years of smoking, eating cheeseburgers, fucking, I don't know, cleaning fucking Humvee parts and down JP8.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things, but ultimately, my family, heart disease runs strong in my family.
Okay.
So it's not something that I actually acknowledged or, I'm going to say, oh, I didn't know, but honestly, I probably just didn't acknowledge it.
Right.
Grandma of heart failure, grandfather died of a stroke.
So, especially being at such a young age.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect it to fuck with you.
It's like, damn. So
I'm gonna run out of time here. Do you mind if I send you one more link, or do you have anything to do later on?
Let's go.
All right, cool. Because I want to continue with this here. And that's a trip right there. Especially, I'm wondering, like, how has life or your outlook on life changed since you had this triple motherfucking heart attack at one time? How that's made you change your outlook on things. Plus, I'd like to talk a little bit about your getting out of the military and transitioning back to the civilian sector. If you've seen any changes, or not only changes, but like how you dealt with it. Because I've been out for 8 years now, and I don't think I'm fully transitioned. Don't think we'll ever transition. I mean, you know what? Let me rephrase that, because transition means a whole lot of fucking different things nowadays. So don't get me started with that dumb shit. Fuck that. So if that's cool with you, we can go ahead and do that.
Run it.
All right, bet. We got about a minute left. So let's go ahead and for the next 1 minute, how many pills they got you taking?
Oh, I take about 8 a day. Now, granted, one of them's like an allergy pill that I just took. I just started taking.
Okay.
I do live in Tennessee, so pollen count's been especially high this year.
Okay.
But I'm on 2-3 different blood pressures. I'm on 2 cholesterol pills, a baby aspirin because I got a stent in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's it.
All right, well, that's a good way to end it. We got a nice little part to pick it up from. I'm gonna go ahead and send you out that link. We're back for the third installment here with old Sergeant Jenkins, and so we've gone through his career pretty much, most of it, and then we were just talking about you surviving fucking 3 heart attacks at one time. That's fucking crazy, bro. I definitely want to delve into that a little bit. How much of a let's go into the military aspect real quick. Let's rewind a bit. So when you finally made a decision to get out, was it made for you by the Army, or was it something you were like, I'm fucking done, I'm chucking deuces?
I made up my decision in Iraq in 2000, well, 8 pretty much. After you left, we got Lieutenant Colonel Doherty, and
Yep.
he was fucking great. I'm not saying anything bad about the man, but when Borison left to go to the recruiter, right? My paperwork was in to go recruiter. That's what I wanted to do.
Right.
And it went through, and I was fenced into the unit.
Gotcha.
Right. And sent up the paperwork, fence removal, this, that, and the other. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy for this, but it's one of those many, big green penis moments that you experience in the Army career.
Yep.
Where he called me into his office. He said, I want you to go. We're about to come down on orders. We're about to start doing training. I need one of my more seasoned NCOs. I was like, sir, I've already been on 2 tours at this point. And, I want to start a family. I want to be in the, stateside for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, when we get back, he tried to play, hey, I'm going to do this, this, this. And I was like, no, sir, I really just want to go recruiter. And he said, well, there's one problem. And he pointed to the fence. He had me turn in my folder to the fence removal.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, that's not my signature.
Damn.
So at this point, I'm looking at him like, oh, fucking really? This is how we're playing things. Not saying he's a bad guy. No.
Right.
All right. It could have not been his signature. My point of view at the time. And you know what? Over there, we were close as hell because I was in his battalion.
Mm-hmm.
And I was his NBC NCO for the entire battalion. And part of his PSD and all kinds of shit. Right? But at that moment, I was of the fuck you, peace of mind at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I decided right then that I wasn't gonna be in the military anymore. And then I had a lapse in judgment. I actually went to Mendez, who was our retention.
Okay.
And I was like, Mendez, hey, I want to stay in the Army. But I don't want to be this MOS anymore. This is my biggest drawback. This is the whole reason why I'm no longer with Alpha Battery. This is blah, 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 blah. I want to change my MOS. Well, what do you want to be? Combat medic or MP?
Okay.
Right? He goes, okay, I'll see what I can do. And then he kept on telling me, hey, I think I got things lined up. They had the entire tour. Now, I'm not of the mind of annoying the fuck out of a person.
Mm-hmm.
But his priorities were the Zone 1 people. People in that phase. Your E3s, your E4s, your early E. That was his priority, was getting them promoted.
Right.
The Zone 2 people wasn't his priority. Well, then came a problem when I became his issue, but his priority at that point. Well, shit. You're down on deployment orders for Alaska, and fuck, I'll go to Alaska.
Okay.
I don't want to go west. I don't want to be this MOS.
Right. Wasn't able to do nothing.
Can't argue with your orders. At this point, I'm looking at Mendez like, and this is a guy that was one of my really great friends.
Right.
I'm looking at him like, you fucked me, man. you're just another one in the long line of people in the Army that's fucked me.
Right.
So that's when I decided, you know what? February 2013 or February 2010, February 13th, 2010. I'm no longer going to be in the Army.
Dang. 2010, that was, you were still in 582 at the time?
Mhm.
Yeah, because they came to Mosul and they replaced me.
Yeah.
I was in 19 FA.
Well, see, I would have been. I think the orders were for Wainwright.
Oh, okay.
It's funny how you don't remember the unit that you weren't going to go to.
Right. Shit. Yeah, it was a trip. I got replaced when we ripped out with 582 out in Mosul, and I got to see Hunt, Carter, everybody from the old 277 days was now fucking first cav, big ass fucking horse on their shoulder. And then ran into them, Bricker and all those good guys and all that shit. And then afterwards, when in Afghanistan, once again replaced by 5A Deuce. Like, fuck, dude. It was just meant to be that I was going to rip with these guys every time. So when you decided to get out, what was the oh shit moment for you? Like, fuck, what am I going to do in the civilian sector?
Probably when, all right, so like my aspirations, even from a kid, and this is counter to my lifestyle and your lifestyle, back in early LA was be a police officer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, counter to what I grew up against. But I think my oh shit moment was when I got back and I moved to Nashville because that's what was supposed to happen. I was gone for 6 months from Texas. During that time, I applied for places around Nashville, places in Wilson County where I live, places in separate counties. And either got straight out like denied because good old boy system,
Right.
or got put on a waiting list.
Right.
And I'm like, man, this is what I'm supposed to fucking do. What are you talking about, a waiting list? So, and at my time, and at the time, I didn't understand it. Look, a lot of these places, good old boy system, whatnot, they don't want you to start out going straight to police officer. The main thing that always came back was, oh, you were in the military for almost 10 years. Yes, sir. Were you an MP? No, but I did the fucking MP's jobs. What do you want? I mean,
right.
Why they're back writing tickets to Sergeant Major for running a fucking stoplight.
Right.
We're doing their job over in Iraq. I mean, what?
They have a delusion of what they think the military police actually does on base.
So they a lot of it just got pushed to the side. I did sooner or later find out that they just want you to have a little experience in the field. Is how I became in the corrections field in the first place. So, which kind of sort of look.
Not to get a little political here, but I'm going to. I think that if your last name would have been something like Jackson or Washington, and you would have been a little more melanated, as they like to say nowadays, your name would have been bumped up a little bit higher as well, as diversity higher. I mean, you don't have to say it. I'll say it because I don't give a fuck. I've known another really good friend of mine, really good friend of mine, who tried to, become a firefighter in many different fucking cities. And always the same thing. Waiting list. Like, dude, this motherfucker did EMT. He, military service, NCO. You would think those are all qualifiers.
You would think.
But unfortunately, you know, there's diversity hires that have to go on there. So it kind of bumps the name down. And I hate to sound like a prick about it, but you know, and I get called a sellout a lot because of this, but I'm dead serious. If the last name just happened to be something, or, you know, just a little bit more diverse, you probably would have gotten the position you were looking for.
Right.
You know? Or if you were a female.
How we feel as a transition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure we can. This isn't going to be my last podcast with you.
Good.
As long, all right. But and we can dwell into this at a later date. Mm-hmm. But we always talk about that a stigma that goes with us in the Army is that we're angry.
Right.
I don't think I felt more anger than when I first got out. Those first 4 fucking years. And a common phrase I used to say is everybody says they support the Army until it actually comes time to support somebody. Right. We support veterans until it's actually time to do something to support somebody. You know, yep. give me a fucking break. Give me a job. Lowest level would fucking work. Mm-hmm. But it couldn't even get that.
I feel you 100% on that. I'm going to say this for the company that I worked for. When I got out, I had no idea what the fuck I was going to do. I'm a 13 Bravo staff sergeant. This had to do with cannons. I didn't know shit but the gun line. I didn't know how to do. I was very, very light on admin shit. You know what I mean? But I had to start from the fucking bottom, bro. When I got out, you know, not that I was making a lot of money in the Army, but I was comfortable as a staff sergeant, you know?
And in the military, what you talking about?
Right?
But BAH, BAS?
I lived on post, bro, because I had kids by then, and your BAH doesn't go up with kids. That's a sad one. But when I got to the civilian sector, you know, what helped me out was being a veteran with this company that I worked for. Now, did I go in as a supervisor? No, that would have been awesome. But I went to work at a call center, bro.
Sounds good.
You know, right. I went in there to file claims for car insurance. I worked for Nationwide Insurance at the time. And now I can say, because I no longer work there, but I was working for Nationwide Insurance. They were a great company to work for. I loved it. And, you know, my bosses, they knew that certain accommodations were made for me. So that, let's say, for example, I need to have a certain area to sit in so I can view certain things. People would just walk up behind me or tap me or anything like that, because they knew that it could be, I was hyper alert. You know what I'm saying? Hyper alert. So some people almost caught elbows because they would just walk up and just put their arm like, whoa, who the fuck are you? You know, it's just sensitive shit like that. But they were very supportive. You know what I mean? And I think that one thing I got out of the military was our work ethic. You know what I mean? We're those that we want to get shit done. You know what I mean? You tell me what the fucking job is, I'll make it happen, right? So they were really good. What I hated was the word tenure. That was one word that got to me. Like, I wanted to choke motherfuckers. That the reason that I couldn't move up was because I didn't have tenure there. I wasn't there long enough to be bumped up. You know, never mind that I already got this job down. I know that I'm capable of leading, but I tell you this, they did help me modify my leadership from the military to be more corporate. You know what I mean? So they help me in that aspect. But there are a lot of veterans, bro. When they get out, they have this difficulty transitioning. And I'm one of them, transitioning back to the civilian sector, because we're on that mindset of, yeah, we're going to make it, dude. I got a DD-214. You know, people are all about helping out veterans and whatnot. Then they get out here. Your DD-214 don't mean shit. Your NCOERs don't mean shit. You could have been a fucking, you know, unless you were an E8 or above, it doesn't fucking matter. Maybe E7 and above.
Hold on. I can tell you in certain fields that don't mean shit either.
Oh, word.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about your transition. I mean, how did that go for you? I mean, did you have any difficulties?
So initially, that initial 6 months.
Yeah.
Right. And then my wife had some connections and I had some connections. I ended up coming back to Fort Hood and working at the WTU.
Okay.
And that was a blessing. I was there for 3 years. through the dissolution of my marriage. And now at this time, I was still of the mind that, you know, I want to be in law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
So coming up to the end of my contract as a GS civilian,
Mm-hmm.
right, they were like, hey, you need to go apply for disability. Well, why do I need to go apply for disability? Because you're rated as a 3. We're going to go ahead and tell you, in this position, I was doing a computer programming program for the WTU.
Okay.
Right. In your position, there's going to be somebody else that's rated higher on the veteran scale, and they're going to take a job. I didn't listen. Plus, I didn't want to get disability because I thought it would be used against me once I finally did get out there.
Right.
So, and up until 2020, I never claimed disability. I'd been out at that point for over 10 years.
Holy shit! So you hadn't filed for any kind of VA compensation for the from the time you got out to 2020.
Yep.
You know, a lot of us, it's one of those hard to swallow pills. You know, where we got to suck up our pride. Oh, we feel great right now. No, I don't want to steal money from the government. Blah 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 blah. First of all, you're not stealing anything because you earned it.
Yeah.
Second of all, you need to think about the worst time that you're having, and that's what you need to think about when you go and get your CMP exams, because in the future is when it's going to fuck you up. It's going to fuck you over more. And anyways, I'm sorry. I get pretty fucking.
You're absolutely right, because I think about all the trials and tribulations that I went through in those 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I lost custody of my fucking daughter, bro.
Mm.
Like, at this point, I can't even have contact in her because my baby mama's fucking boyfriend is a fucking prick. All right.
Jesus Christ.
All I can do is sit here, lay down every night, get on my knees, fold my hands, and pray that when she gets old enough, she wants to get back in touch with me.
Right.
That's where I'm at on that.
That's fucking hurtful right
And
there.
yeah, dude, it tears me apart. And it's all stuff that could have been fought with a little bit of money.
Dude. And did you find
from because pride and ignorance.
Yeah.
Pride and ignorance. That's what it ultimately led down to.
I try to talk to some of our peers, or people that we served with, and tell them, like, look, man, again, it's not taking if it's something you earned. Now, there are some shitbags out there that never fucking did a goddamn, never fired their weapon in anger, but they claim PTSD every motherfucking day. Like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about PTSD from? What?
Like
Basic training?
Damn. Right.
Dude, it's fucking crazy. But there's others that legitimately went out there, handled their business. And I think I'd like to compare it, because I was one of those that I didn't want to admit there was, I didn't want to say like there was something that was wrong with me or whatnot, because I try to think of like the World War II veterans, the Korea War veterans, the Vietnam veterans. And I'm like, they came back, they did their thing, nobody cried or complained or anything about it. But then, now I think about it and put it in these terms of nowadays. Well, they didn't have social media back then, and they didn't have a way to. There was more of a stigma, kind of like when we were coming up through the army, like suck it up and drive on, don't have a sandy vagina type deal, and it was demonized. But now it's like a double-edged sword now, because you got people that actually have issues that want to get the help, but then you got others that have no problems whatsoever that are clogging up the system. You know what I mean? And God damn, those guys they sicken me. So anyways, sorry about that. But what are the kind of hardships that you face? Like, coming into civil, also finding a job, realizing that, not everybody's an American flag waver anymore. You know, they're only American. They're what I call them fake triots. You know, they're not patriots, they're fake triots.
That's great. That's a great, analogy to use on it. That's exactly what they are. They say they support veterans
Mm-hmm.
until it's time to actually do something to support. I ain't talking about having a motherfucking pizza party. I'm not saying they have pizza parties because I would have loved pizza back then too.
I think we all
But
would.
yeah, but they don't do shit for you outside of anything that's gonna garner public attention.
Right.
They don't.
How did you deal with it?
Stayed angry. I mean, that was I grit and bared it, man. That was all I did.
Did there come a point that you were able to
it-
overcome the anger, though?
Just it subsides over time.
No. Do you think it subsides, or you just get used to it and numb it and just put it somewhere in the back burner?
At just some point, you just stop kind of giving a fuck.
Yeah. And that right there is where it's dangerous, because again, that's where I was at, where to the point I didn't give a fuck no more. I became apathetic to the point where I didn't feel anymore, and I wanted to feel. So
what are we gonna do, bro? We're gonna go fight them. I mean, they don't want that, but that's not gonna accomplish anything.
Right.
I mean,
have you seen some of these new generation soldiers that are out there, and like, you haven't any thoughts on them?
oh, all right. So I've been working for Wilson County for over 3 years now.
Okay.
Right. And I was actually a supervisor up until about 3 months ago, and I decided to step down, mainly because of the political bullshit that comes with it. I'd much rather take a specialized job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm waiting to see where they're going to put me. I'm either going to be full time in the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
which that's cool. It's kind of a supervisor position, but it's, I got like 5 or 6 inmates to deal with.
Okay.
I thought about going to the road, and I can, and a lot that prideful part of me wants to say, you know what, lose about 20 pounds, go out here and show these weak ass motherfuckers what it's really like to go out on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I can do it, but I'm afraid to go up in front of we have a board here, and get held back because of my heart condition.
Gotcha.
So,
and that wasn't something that was diagnosed while you were in the military either then, right? So
no.
Were you able to get any compensation or service connection for that?
No, no, my main BA is based off PTSD, so which I'll never be able to relate between the military and after the military, working for seriously the worst fucking prison in all of Tennessee.
Damn.
I mean, seriously, just 2 days ago, they had 2 officers stabbed and an inmate die in the same fucking day.
Yeah, damn.
And then a week before, they had one that lieutenant stabbed in the eye. So
sounds like a rough place to work in, dude. I mean, what do you think? Well, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we called it Trousdale for a reason.
Well, see, the thing
that work there.
What I trip out on about, the prison systems, I think a lot of it probably has to do with a lot of respect. Treat the inmates, that's their home. Just it depends, I guess, what level yard you work in or what. Now, I don't know how it works in Tennessee. I'm just thinking about like the California system.
The California probably not too far off. We get a lot from the California system. I've met people that worked out there in California. I had a IT specialist that came out here as he used to be a sergeant out there.
Okay.
Ours isn't too much difference from California.
Okay.
Now, in the county, it's a jail. We base our stuff off of custody level and whatnot.
Mhm.
The classification level that I can't even pretend to fucking tell you.
Right.
Because I don't even understand it. I don't think the person that does the classification understands it. You know, in the prison system, it was based off a worksheet, though.
Okay.
And the prison that I was at, the prison that I will mention now, and I will mention always, if you don't believe me, look this motherfucker up. It's called Trousdale Turner Correction Center.
Hmm.
It's in Hartsville, Tennessee. This place is a hellhole. I worked there for 3.5 years. Now, 2 of that, I'm not going to lie, was of the mind of a mercenary. This is where the money's at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna do my job correctly.
Right.
All right. I've got a bunch of friends, former service members. You know, we didn't serve with them, but they're former service members. They continue to work up there right now.
Okay.
They're of the same. The mercenary.
So, to back, I want to back up a little bit. So now that you're out, and you were able to link up with veterans, you know, other service members, did that give you some kind of at least a little bit of peace of mind, or just some communication with them? Like that was one of the biggest issues that I had, was communicating with fucking civilians. You know,
Yeah.
apparently some of my shit was too harsh, too direct, too offensive. But when I find myself with other veterans, like, you know, fuck is a comma for me, you know?
Made it up to a supervisor position, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did your direct supervisor tell you were being too harsh? That you need to let the military go?
Bro, my manager talked to me multiple times, multiple times about the way that I communicate. Dude, I had a fucking HR case open on me for unprofessionalism, you know. But guess what? My team was fucking on it, bro.
All right. So like, no, now granted, when I directly got out,
Mm-hmm.
initial 6 months of, you know, odds and jobs, working at a fucking parts store, working security and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up at Fort Hood working for the WT unit. So I was back in a military unit.
Right.
As a GA civilian.
Mm-hmm.
But then I come back out and I really saw how harsh it was. I was working I was a supervisor in armed security area, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is one of my examples of this shit, and it just blows my fucking mind because I didn't think I talked to soldiers fucked up, and you were a soldier when I was an NCO, and I don't think I talked to soldiers fucked up. But I want my answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's simple. In the military, we ask this question. We don't want the roundabout.
Mm-hmm.
You give me an answer. This person was late for her shift. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I called her up and said, "Hey, where are you?" "Well, I'm here." "Okay. Are you coming to work?" Was the only fucking question I asked.
Mm-hmm.
She started giving me a roundabout. I don't want a roundabout. "Are you coming to work?" I reiterated it.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept on going roundabout. I stopped her. Now, apparently, this is where I got my HR complaint from. I stopped her. I said, "Look, you're doing all this. I just want to know, are you coming to work?"
Right.
She said, "Well, no, blah, 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 blah." "Okay.
That's all I needed to know.
We'll deal with this whenever you do come into work." She filed an HR complaint. That was not even the gist. That's almost verbatim the conversation.
That's unbelievable, bro.
And she was HR, and they pulled me in. They're like, "We need you to tone down the military. Tone down with something that's engraved. How about this? You just answer the fucking question."
Thank you.
It's fucking hard.
Dude, so you're nailing it on the head when I'm talking about having difficulties transitioning back in, especially when even if you weren't in a combat MOS, you were in a combat unit. You know, and our mentality is a lot different than working as a 42 Alpha or working in.
Sorry. Oh my God.
Dude, it's just a whole different world. So check this out. I'm the type of person.
What did they say to you? Exactly. It's like, well, Shivari, they said this, and this. What was the tone they said it? Oh my God, I don't know. Do you want me to record it on my phone next time?
Exactly, bro. Dude. Now, don't get it twisted. There were some times that I may have gone a little bit fucking overboard. Like there wasn't. I'll give you a quick example. I was new at the job. I was here at Nationwide. I was taking calls. I was a part of a small little team, and my manager, my supervisor, she was military friendly. She worked around in warehouses around men before, so she knew the shoot the shit type of fucking conversations I talk, right. I got along well with her. But anyway, she's like, hey, Danny, I want you to go ahead and read this during our monthly meeting. Pat's going to be in there. Pat was the manager overall. And so I think she was trying to get me like the spotlight. So, I could start advancing because of my work ethic. Right.
Right.
So check this out, bro. I go into the fucking, into the conference room where the whole team is in, and Pat is in there. She's like the manager again. And so Michelle, she was my supervisor. She gives me the paper and she's like, go ahead and read this out loud, Dan. I'm like, okay, no problem. I ain't scared. I don't give a fuck. I've talked in front of fucking many people before, no problems. So I go up there and I'm like, all right, stupid ass. Go ahead.
I said, saying candidates in front of a fucking battalion.
Right? This is too easy, right? I mean, this is only like 8 people, 10 people. So I go up there and like, hey, my name is Danny Lopez. I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick block of instructions. I literally said block of instructions. It was so ingrained in my fucking head regarding some of these financial changes that are coming up or whatnot. So I started reading it off, right? And as I'm doing this, I notice in the back, there's 3 females that are on their fucking phones. All right. And that I immediately stopped and I was like, hey, excuse me, can you please put away your cell phones? I would like for you to give me the same respect that I would give you if you were up here speaking. And they looked at me like, you know what I mean? Like, how dare you talk to me like that when I've been working here longer than you have? You know what I mean? And they scoffed at me, bro. And I'm thinking to myself, your manager's right fucking here. Your supervisor's right fucking here. And you're on your cell phone while, I'm trying to give you guys some important information. If I would have done that type of shit while my smoke was fucking putting out information, I'd be fucking getting my ass smoked for life. But
background while the fucking briefing's going on.
Bro, so that right there set me going downhill with the rest of the fucking call center. All of a sudden, rumors were going around that I was an asshole, that I'm angry all the time, that I think I'm better than everyone. No, I just wanted the same fucking respect afforded to me that I would give you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, was that too much to ask for? I don't think so. Apparently nowadays you can't talk to anyone like that.
No.
But I don't know if it's possible in the Army though.
It just makes you take that attitude afterwards. If we're going to be that way, you don't think I'm going to go ahead and act that way.
Yeah, that's true. Dude, it happened a second time in a different conference room.
Tell me something. Did you ever, in your transition time, did you ever have anybody tell you that you act entitled?
I haven't heard that, but I have felt that. I have felt it to where like, oh, you were in the Army, blah, blah, blah. I'm not like that, bro. I'll put it like this. At work, I would get embarrassed when my manager would be like, oh, this is our Army veteran, Danny Lopez. Why did you have to throw the Army veteran part in there? You know what I mean? Why can't I just be Danny Lopez? And I almost felt kind of like it was like almost like a chip on their shoulder, like look what I got here. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing my part, but it wasn't like that either. I guess they just didn't get very many veterans there. But no, luckily I haven't ran into that. I do live in Texas, which is a very military friendly state, so I haven't gotten that yet.
Well, when it did get thrown up to me, it was by a former family member. Oh. And yeah, she was like, you act entitled, like people are supposed to respect you as a military veteran. what they fucking are. But I mean, you got to at least respect what I've done.
Yeah. But it's not something I would think that you're out there demanding.
No, I wasn't demanding shit, but the fact that somebody throws it up right there, well, yeah, I do kind of expect that, at least to like as a courtesy.
I don't know. I think that's a
What I've done. You know me at
right.
this point, you know, and the people that know me respect me at that point. You don't respect me for anything else.
Right. I
What
mean,
respect at that point?
I think we're probably, well, I'm thinking more like acknowledging, you know, what you've done. You know what I mean?
I don't
And
want, yeah, no, it's not like I want special treatment.
right.
Wouldn't mind it, but
Dude,
it's not that I expect it. It's like there's a world of experience here. You know this.
that there is.
All right. And it's like, especially coming from this person at this time, it's like, what have you done with your life? You ain't done shit.
Right. When you got out, bro, and you look back to your youth, pre-military, like, what do you see that has changed for you as a person? You know, from when you got out to even having a heart attack, and then, you know, how's your outlook now? To when back when you were 18 and you know, young, dumb, and full of cum.
Well, I mean, I don't even know where to start on that, brother.
Well, how about this? We save it for the next episode then.
Yeah, I
We
got you.
We say, because I see I'm running out of time, and that was a fucking question that it's loaded with a lot of answers. And but the plus side is, you know, we got a lot of your military background, which is what I love about the shoot shits, man. And it helps just introduce you to the audience. And then when we have you back again, what I want to do is just expand on that. And definitely I do want to talk more about those 5 minutes that you were out that you don't remember. We gotta see if we could dig some stuff out of there.
Oh, 5 minutes? Oh, shit, that was 2 months. That was over 2 months. But
Wow.
I get told stories. My poor wife has had to relive this trauma, and I felt bad for her because, you know, and I kept on asking her questions, and she would keep on, you know, telling me each and every time, but I didn't remember.
Right.
I didn't understand.
Well,
And I
thankfully, you're still
her
here with us, though.
relived the shit, and she was there for all of it. So, yeah, no, definitely do this. We'll definitely run this shit back.
Oh yeah, we have to. And I mean, I don't give a fuck if we do it again next weekend or whenever you're free. I'm down to.
I'm good.
All right,
After,
cool. So what
um,
we'll do is because I got about 20 seconds left, brother. I want to thank you for being here with me today. I got to wrap this shit up because my old lady's already fucking screaming at me. So, Sergeant Jenkins, I appreciate you being here with me, man. Definitely gonna have you back on here. We'll get offline and talk about it. But with that being said, you have yourself a good one. Thank you, thanks for still being here. Rounds complete. Intermission. Gunline out. March order, motherfuckers. It's about to turn off. Deuces, brother. All right, so I lied, y'all. We are not done. I had to get one more in here because this is just this conversation's just been going really swell, really swell. What the fuck? Hang out with white people and I start talking like them. All right, so yeah,
really
we're gonna go swell, man. All right, so thanks again for joining us here on the Gun Line. And so where were we? Oh yeah, you said there's a story you'd like to share.
Oh yeah. All right. So I touched on a little bit of 2020. I wanted to touch on one more fact. All right. So as a lot of y'all will associate, we lost somebody near and dear to all of us in 2020.
Yes.
All right. Jordan. All right. That's it's no secret, it's no lie, it's no I was closer to Jordan than I was a lot of people in your platoon, because that's my statesman right there. You know, he's from Maryville. I'm from Nashville.
So for those who don't know who Jordan is, it's Cruz, our good old little he was my co-host for about 2 episodes or maybe, and then unfortunately we lost him, and that one it fucked me up, bro. I'm not gonna lie, that one fucked me up.
I had talked to him, you know, just bullshitting around on Facebook. And, I looked back on Messenger not too long ago and saw a conversation, and in which he told me Kowalczyk had moved to Tennessee. Now, he didn't tell me where.
Right.
All right. I assume Kowalczyk moved up there next to him,
right.
up towards the Knoxville area. Right. Little did I know the motherfucker lived down on, you know, in Nashville.
Right.
Now, I live out in DeKalb County now, but I'm within an hour of Nashville. So, lo and behold, that. All right, now back to the point of my story. My heart was with y'all. I had taken off work. I had gotten the time and the money to come out there and be with y'all during that funeral. Unfortunately, as many of y'all know, 2020, the year that nobody remembers because of COVID. 3 days before, I tested positive for COVID.
Gotcha.
I look back on those pictures and I see it in my head. I ain't looked at the picture in fucking years. But I see the picture of y'all at the funeral. And I think back to that, I'm like, man, I should have been in there in that picture. I should have been there with them. This was our brother. There was somebody that was supposed to be, and every one of y'all, I'm not saying Mercer wasn't. Mercer, but it just hit closer to home with Jordan.
Right. And that's completely understandable, bro. I mean, you got the Rona, so it's not like you could go, you know. And
and you know, we'll put all political opinions aside on the virus, because. But back in 2020, it was something different, you know. And we thought different. And my line of thinking was, even though I had a bit of a fever for about an hour, I feel, you know, or a day or so, you know, passing moment, it's fine. I don't want to get Doll sick. I don't want to get his kids sick. I don't want to get his family sick. I don't want to get my brothers sick. So, even though I may not have put it out there because I was kind of upset at the time, my heart was with y'all.
Appreciate it, brother. I mean, there are many of us, like, for example, right now, I should have been on the road. I should have actually been over there right now in Nashville. Unfortunately, due to circumstances, I have an extreme appointment tomorrow that I cannot miss. And that kind of fucked me up because I didn't even think about that appointment. All I could think about was like, okay, we're gonna be there for the funeral, you know what I'm saying? And the whole link up was gonna be there at Nashville, and then from there I was gonna take off with Kay, probably stop at Knoxville to go visit Cruz, and then from there, you know, head out to North Carolina. But it sucks that I'm not even gonna be able to be there. I already talked to Jen, told her about it. But I'll tell you what, the whole thing with Cruz, it pissed me off because 2020 is when I started this podcast. And it was in February, late February, late February. Oh, no, late January, early February. Anyways, regardless, Cruz hits me up and he's like, yo, you got a podcast and you put Hodgson on before you put me, blah, blah, blah. You know, just our usual banter and shit like that. And so I did an episode with him sometime in April of 2020, I think it was. And but it was cool reconnecting with him because I mean we hadn't connected in fucking years. Like I'm talking about since I left 277. We had the usual like here and there on Facebook, like and you know comments here and there, but it wasn't like it was before. But with this podcast thing, with Kowalczyk, you know, co-hosting it with me, and then fucking with Cruz there, we all linked up together. So it was like the trifecta again. It was myself, Cruz, and Kowalski, since we were in the same platoon. And then when we were in Iraq, we were in the same gun truck platoon, and we were all gunners. So we had that kind of kinship. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it was cool that we had that together again. And it was his birthday on the 23rd, and I was talking shit to him, and because his birthday and my birthday were back to back. So his birthday was the 23rd of November. My birthday is the 24th of November. And that day, on the 24th, it was a Tuesday, and we were supposed to record. All right. He was the co-host, right? And earlier that morning, we were talking shit to each other on our group message with him and Kowalski and I. We were just talking shit. And he's like, hey, man, I'm going to be a little bit late today. But I'll be there. And I'm like, all right, cool. No problem, man. And I was, like I said, it was on my birthday. And so finally 6 o'clock rolls around and I haven't heard from him. 7 o'clock rolls around and I'm writing back like, where the fuck you at, man? Why ain't you responding? You're supposed to be late. It's all good. I understand. I'm just going to get Hunt to co-host with me today. So I did an episode with Hunt. So while we're doing the episode with Hunt, you know, at the end, as I'm wrapping it up, I tell Hunt, and I tell the podcast, like, oh, by the way, thanks for letting me down, Cruz, on my birthday. You know, you're supposed to be my co-host today. You know what? Fuck you. That's fucked up, motherfucker. And then Hunt's like, yeah, fuck that fool, Cruz, and blah, blah. We're over here talking shit, right? And so we stopped recording, like, all right, man, I'm going to go ahead and format this shit and then just spit it out. He's like, all right, cool, homie. And like, you know, I told him, thanks, I appreciate it. And I hang up and I start doing my thing to start formatting, right? And suddenly I get the ding on my motherfucking phone. And it's a Facebook message. And it's from Doll on Cruz's fucking account.
My God.
Yeah. And that's when she's telling me, Jordan, and I could just read it in her head, and like, you know, in her voice, like, Jordan was found not breathing at the gym, and he's at the hospital now. They're trying to do surgery. He had a blood clot the size of a moon pie, or they have something like that on his head. And so from there, everything just like my mouth dropped. I'm like, oh, fuck me. Well, there goes releasing that episode, because I'm not gonna put that shit out in the fucking atmosphere. You know, I'm talking shit about him. Little did I know that he was fucking in the hospital, you know, fighting for his life at the time. And then of course, you know, that was it. That was all she wrote. And that one, it was just so unexpected, bro. Because he was healthy, you know, he was healthy, fucking just full of life. Had just celebrated his 38th birthday, 39th, maybe, I want to say. I can't really remember. He was born in 80. I can't remember what year he was born in. But either way,
1 or 82.
82, I believe, I want to say.
He was the same age as me, so it was like 37 or 38.
Okay, 38 then. He had just celebrated his 38th birthday because it was on the 23rd. And dude, and like me and Kowalski were like, what the fuck just happened? How? You know, some people I expected a call about. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say it, but there's just some people that you expect to hear, like, hey, this person passed away, this person passed away. You kind of figured that was going to happen because they were going down. But this one just out of nowhere, and it hurt me more because we finally connected again and had that. You know what I mean? That friendship was there, that brotherhood. It never skipped a beat. It's like we never separated, bro. Same thing happened when Quintero passed away back in 2015. You know, when we linked up over here where he was from, dude, we all picked up like it was 277 all over again. Like we had never missed a beat. Like I saw Reen, you know, and I was like, oh, there goes Woody, you know, because he always looked like Woody to me from fucking from Toy Story. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it was great seeing all the brothers, and I really wish. And I'm sorry I took up this, but it really, I hate the fact that we only get together or think about each other when shit happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, occasionally, you know, back then, I occasionally, like you, I'd reach out every once in a while on Messenger, and me and Jordan would text back and forth, or we'd like each other's post or comment on something. You know, I knew how to trigger Jordan if you know, before you hit post on something on Facebook, you know, all right, look, this person right here, if they see this shit, they're definitely gonna like this shit. They're definitely. I knew if I did anything comic book, if I did anything movies, I did anything about the University of Tennessee,
Go Vols.
Jordan was going to comment. Which, by the way, Tennessee won today in Super Regionals, beating UCM. Maybe tomorrow they face them again. We can go on to Omaha. Go Vols.
Hell yeah.
That's the reason why I'm wearing a baseball jersey. I don't have a Tennessee Vols baseball jersey, but
Bro, that's my one of my tattoos that I've been discussing is I got to get the T somewhere
right
up
there.
here. Yeah, just for Cruz. I'm not even a Vols fan. I'm not even a college fan. But if
Yeah.
there's something I remember about that motherfucker, always go Vols. And
Yep.
yeah, man. I mean, that was heartbreaking, dude. If it's crazy, dude, I'm gonna show you a picture that I just found over the week. I was going through cleaning out my garage, and I don't know if you're able to see this, but in this picture, there's Mercer and there's Cruz.
Look at that.
You know what I'm saying? And that was a barbecue that I had thrown back pre-deployment.
And that's fucking surreal right there, bro.
And I mean, what's crazy is at this same barbecue, I also have fucking Johnson in there. He in one of the pictures as well. So it's just like one of those like Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
So I'm always going to take credit for it. I'm sure David Mendez will fucking argue with me about this shit. I am the one that gave him that nickname.
Oh, really?
I am the one that gave him the Silky nickname. Anybody can debate this with me all they fucking want. I'm the one that gave Richard Johnson, yes, Dick Johnson, the Silky. All right.
Did it come from the Chappelle show?
It came from the Chappelle show. You knew it came from the Chappelle show.
Of course.
Everybody.
Silky motherfucking Johnson.
Silky motherfucking Johnson. Hate.
Oh man, it's a trip, brother. I mean, I'm happy that we connected like this because I mean, you know, I see you on there, you know, and you post family pics and stuff that you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with like Boris and all them. And you know, it's not much, but it's something that to acknowledge, like, I see you, brother. You know what I mean? And just dude, it trips me the fuck out. Like, if World War II veterans were able to communicate with each other annually, you know what I mean?
How different, like, seriously, of a difference would that have made back then?
And it's a trip, brother. It's a trip. Like, you know, I try to communicate with those as much as I can. Like, you know, like Bricker, Bash. I try to reach out to them after what happened with Mercer. You know,
like damn member ZZ Top at this point.
Yeah, he did.
Coming at for you, Bricker.
I
said, I'm coming for you, Bricker. If you watch, I'm coming for you.
Fucking old Bricker, man. It's
looking like up in Tennessee, up in the mountains.
Bro, I'm not gonna. I fell in love with Tennessee, bro. I'm just gonna put that out there. I fell in love with Tennessee, the Smoky Mountains. Like, I'm talking about East Tennessee.
Oh yeah, East. Yeah.
One of my old soldiers, he's from Pigeon Forge, and dude, Lindsay, if you're hearing this, you know I love you, and I'm gonna go visit you because I love that place. Like, he had the most Tennessee accent ever. Chave, you gotta come to Pigeon Forge. You know, you ever heard of Dollywood? It's right, we're right by it, Chave. I love my boy Lindsay, man. He was always a cool little cat, bro. But dude, I went out there to Cherokee, North Carolina with Kowalczyk for we call it like a memorial trip that we did. It was supposed okay, backstory. Now you got me into this. So in 2020, Kowalczyk, myself, and Cruz were supposed to link up and go to fucking go camping in Cherokee, North Carolina, into the Smoky Mountains. That was our plan, you know, and because it was a reunion of us, you know what I'm saying? I mean, look, I don't got this picture here for no fucking reason. I mean, that was us three in 06 in Baghdad. You know what I'm saying?
Where's his mouth? Look at that.
You know what I'm saying? Those were.
You totally forget that he smoked.
Oh yeah, that motherfucker was a chain smoking motherfucker.
I mean, his clean cut attitude. You totally forget that he smoked.
Oh yeah, I mean, and we were supposed to go and do this Memorial Weekend of 2021. And unfortunately, he ended up passing. And Kowalczyk and I were like, well, we're still going, and we still did it in memory of Cruz. We went up there and we stopped by Knoxville, and we sat there, pulled out the chairs, the lawn chairs, opened up his van, and literally sat there just chopping it up, shooting the shit like if all three of us were together, right there, next to his gravesite. And we had a shot for him, then drink, and I had a copy of that picture with me, and I left it out there in our site where we were at, because that was supposed to be our trip, bro. You know what I mean? Yep. And when it didn't happen, it fucking goddamn. So now Kowalczyk and I try to still do that on Memorial Weekend. The only part that sucks is that my wife's birthday is Memorial Weekend. So it's a little iffy on some of them. Like this year was unable to do so, but possibly next year. But either way, man.
You know what? If you do it next year, hit me up. Yep. I definitely need a redo from 2020.
No doubt, brother.
I'm out there. I'll shoot the shit and honor him the way I was supposed to then.
Well, that's for sure. Whenever I go to fucking Nashville again, I will definitely hit you up. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
you didn't come. Like, I was gonna hit you up this morning and be like, hey, man, we might want to meet up around Nashville, not in Nashville, because it's CMA Fest right now.
Oh, really?
Anywhere near it, yeah.
Honestly, dude, I'll tell you this much. The times that I've gone to Nashville, I don't leave Kowalczyk's house. You know what I'm saying? And it's the funny part is
exactly he lives, like, because Briley Parkway meets up with 24 twice. Once on the east side, and once on the west side, once on my side on the east.
He's more on the east side, like the southeast side.
Okay, all right. Then I might be maybe 45 minutes from him.
Bro, he's literally like a stone's throw from downtown. Like, I mean, you could just drive up and it's right there. We went to Zany's there to a comedy show. He's like literally like 10 minutes away, if that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really I loved it out there. But again, like when I gone out there, he's like, hey, what do you want to do? And I'm like, look, I don't really give a fuck. Honestly, I'm there to go see the Kowalczyks, not to go see Nashville. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the first year that I went out there, we went tubing on the river.
8 down. Oh, I was about to say you went to Nashville. We saw about 8 down paddle taverns with bride parties on it. What?
Bro, I don't do any of that, bro. He took me for a quick trip around downtown and shit like that. But I was like, dude, I'm just here to hang out with you. And we had a cookout and we just hung out. Again, it's my wife's birthday, so we celebrated her birthday there. Right. And I to me, it's all about the company I'm with versus the place that I'm at. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. And that's what makes the experience for me. And with Kowalczyk, I've always had a tight bond with him, way back, going back again to 277, being that I was the front gunner, he was the rear gunner. So we kind of, in essence, both protected our platoon. We had a lot of fucking pressure on us. Well, we didn't really think about it like that, but it's that bond. And ever since then, like, we've annually seen each other. When I was stationed in Fort Stewart, Georgia, he would come and visit me there, or I go to Chicago. So it's just that bond. Same thing with Moya. Moya, he lives out in Vegas. He comes out here to visit me, and we just hang out, shoot it up, chop it up, bro. We got to maintain those friendships because you're not promised tomorrow, bro. You know what I'm saying? And if that's one thing I've learned, tomorrow you could be gone. I mean, look at your situation.
I get enough Walking Dead jokes about that one. So
no doubt, bro. But again, we will touch on that on the next episode that we have. Right. You let me know when you're available. I have availability. I'm open. I like to record one podcast a week. Generally, again, I used to do 2 of them, which is a shoot the shit and a midweek memo. I'll probably end up doing 2 this week. I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'm dropping this one. It'll be out tomorrow morning. And then probably on Wednesday, I'll do another episode, which will be with Hunt. And that's going to be probably a midweek memo where I talk about some of the military shit and just stupidities of the gun line, or like gun line conversations is what I like to say pretty much. It's like the it's like social, it's like the stuff that's going on in society, but with a
Yeah.
gunline point of view, where we get to say how we feel.
I've watched you talk about it before.
Yeah, I
I've
like to
watched.
just okay, yeah, and that's where we get into the politics and shit like that. What was that?
I said I'm one of your viewers.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, and I like to get on there, and I get political sometimes. You know, not that I'm much into politics, but I'll tell you this: we don't need this motherfucking sleepy motherfucker that's up there right now. I'm not a MAGA lover, but at least I knew what I was getting with him. That's all I'm saying.
You said it best your last podcast. All right, we need to get away from this bipartisan. But sadly, that's what it is, man.
Yep.
And you likened it to the South Park episode where it was a douche and
The giant douche and the turd sandwich.
Yeah, and that's what you look back to when Trump originally ran. It's like, okay, a criminal versus a criminal. I mean, this is what we had. So, and this past time we had a criminal versus some old man that's probably going to die in office, and this is what you got, and this is what you got to fucking choose for. And I mean, I'll stay my level at the county level, the local level of politics, which I don't even like dealing with that shit because it's a bunch of stabbing people in the back. But dude, federal level, it's just I don't even want to talk about it. I mean, we seen it over there, didn't we?
Well, we'll leave it at that because that'll open up another can of worms, and we're running out of time right here. I appreciate it though, Sergeant Jenkins.
Time the fish there.
Huh?
I said you open up another can of worms and we ain't got enough time to fish.
Exactly, bro. That is on point right there. By the way, before I do call it a day, for those of y'all that knew Mercer, if you weren't able to view the stream, it is still available though. And the preacher man did him justice. He did Mercer justice. I mean, there was more talking about fishing because if you knew Mercer, you knew he fished. So it was really a great fucking memorial. And whoever does show out there to the burial, appreciate that. I'm sure Jen and her family appreciate it as well. I'm gonna wrap this up because my old lady, I was not bullshitting. She already came in here once to the garage or the On the Gunline studios. But again, man, thank you for being here, bro. And I'll definitely see you soon again because we need to continue this shit.
Yeah, hell yeah, we do.
Before we go, any advice for young or anybody transitioning out of the military into the civilian sector, whether it's retiring or ETSing? What advice would you give them as someone who transitioned out of the military and had challenges?
So really look into whatever field of work you want to get into. Send out probes, like talk to people involved. Don't just assume you're going to get into it. And keep an open mind, because what you dreamed about in the military may not be what it is in the civilian sector. So expectations versus reality.
That's it right fucking there. Expectations versus reality. Don't think that because you were a fucking E5 in the goddamn army, you're going to come out making $80,000 a year.
That ain't gonna fuck.
Not at all, unless you open up a business and that motherfucker is succeeding immediately. So with that said, once again, thanks a lot. Rounds complete. End of mission. Gunline out. March order, motherfuckers.